Start a new video for our chatter because this is getting long. Well, like 4 minutes, and I'm scared it's gonna cut off. So, be back soon. Okay. Um. So he was like, "Hi, it's an honor to meet you, whatever." And then me being dumb. Okay, I had this whole list of things that I wanted to say to him. I had it all planned out in my head. And the first thing I say to him, I don't introduce myself. I don't like say anything, and I just go, "I have a question." And he goes, "Okay." And I go, "What did Palm do to your face?" So the first thing I say to AJ is, "What did Palm do to your face?" To those of you who don't know, Palm and AJ hung out like a week ago, and Palm tweeted a picture of AJ, and he had this big cut here and like here, and he was bleeding, and Palm was like, "This is why my friends don't visit me." And so when AJ came out, he had the cut here, and there's like Neosporin on it, and he started laughing and he goes, "Oh, Palm didn't do anything. It was my fault. We were being stupid, like, and we stumbled home. Obviously, that means he was drunk, just saying." And he was like, "We stumbled home and I fell over and this happened." And so I don't really understand because if he like fell, I don't know how he would get cut here, but whatever, you know what? It's AJ, I don't care. And so that was the first thing out of my mouth. And then he finishes telling the story, and I finally go, "I'm Kara, by the way." And he reaches out his hand to shake mine. He's like, "AJ." And at first, like in my mind, this is so dumb, but I thought he was correcting me. Like I thought that he thought I was calling him Kara. And so I kind of had a face. I was probably like, but like, I don't know. I caught on pretty fast that that wasn't what he meant. So we shake hands, and then I was like, "I don't know if like you remember me at all, but um, you've met my friend Kelsey a few times, and I was the one that made FYAJ Homes, and I've written you a few letters." And at first he's like it's obvious he doesn't know, and then something clicks, and he's like, "Oh, you made it." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "With Kelsey, you made it." And I was like, "Yeah." And he looks at me and he goes, "That's so creepy." Like with this smile on his face, he's just like, "That's so creepy." And I was completely mortified. I was like, "Oh my god, I want to disappear right now. This isn't real life. This isn't happening. He just called me creepy." And so I'm probably sitting there like I was like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't mean to be creepy." And he's like, "No, I mean, like, I go on it a lot." And he's like, "I go on it from time to time, and it just like creeps me out." And I, okay, I was thinking about it later, and I think he means like he's not really like famous yet, so it's just like creepy to see like his face like somewhere, and like knowing that he has fans and stuff because I don't think he actually meant like you're creepy, but I don't know. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so that happened, and then he was like, "I just mean like I go into interviews sometimes, and like the blogs will pop up about me, and they will like the interviewer will ask me, 'Is this your website?' And I'll be like, 'No, it's not my website. Like it's someone else's website about me.'" Um, okay, and then cutting this video off, starting. Okay. Um, so yeah, it's someone else's blog about me. And so we like laugh about that for a second, I think. I don't know. And so then I was like, "Will you sign my playbill?" And he goes, "Sure." And we stare at each other for like a minute, and then I go, "Do you have a pen?" And he goes, "No. Do you?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay, can I have the pen?" And so I'm just mortified at this point because like what is happening? And so I go in my bag, and my bag is like Hermione's bag, like everything gets lost in it, everything. And so I'm searching for this pen, and I like can't find it. And I'm like, I need to find this pen. So he's staring at me, looking through my bag for this pen. And I guess he talks to Sarah for a second. I don't really remember. I have to ask Sarah about that. So I finally find the pen and I give it to him and I'm like, Alan Rickman signed with this pen. You should be very honored. And he was just like, oh yeah, yeah. And so, um, oh, okay. So he's like, do you want me to sign inside the playbill or in the front? And I was like, I don't care. Sign wherever you want to sign. And he is like, okay. And so he opens it and he signs on the inside. And I guess I had a disappointed look on my face. I don't know. I was probably still like mortified from him calling me creepy. I'm like, so he was like, you wanted me to sign on the outside, didn't you? And I'm like, no, like, you're fine. You sign there. That's good. That's good. And he's like, I'll sign on the outside too. And so he turns it over and he signs on the outside. So now I have his autograph twice on the inside and the outside. It was great. And he hands me back the playbill, um, signs Sarah's, and I was like, I have a present for you. And so I think when I edit this video together, I'll put a picture right now of the present. Go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it's a Build-A-Bear, and it's the black Build-A-Bear, and I dressed up as the Hulk because it was the closest to like Frankenstein's monster that I could find, and so I thought it looked enough like the Frankenstein monster. So I named it Frankenstein, but with a PH, because like if you know AJ, he loves fish, and he always changes the F's to PH on everything. So it's Frankenstein with a PH, and so I give him this bear, and I explain the Hulk situation. And then I was like, its name is Frankenstein with a PH because of fish. And I guess he didn't hear me. He was like concentrating on the birth certificate. And he was like, what is that? And I was like, it's the birth certificate. And Sarah says, like, it's the birth certificate, so it's official. Like, and so he's like looking at it and he's like, oh, it's a Build-A-Bear. And I went, yeah. And he was like, you guys made me a Build-A-Bear? And we were like, yeah. And he's like, that's so sweet. And so like it was finally like getting better. I'm like, okay, this is less awkward now. And he's like, what's its name? And like I'd already told him his name, but so I say again, I'm like, it's Frankenstein, but with a PH because of fish. And he thought that was so funny. He started laughing, like, and then he does one of these. He's like, come here, come here. And so I go up and he does one of these. He pulls me into this hug and like squeezes me, and it's so cute. So then he does the same for Sarah. And he's looking at this Build-A-Bear and he's like, this is so awesome. Hold on. Video change again. Okay. So, he is like, I have to show Rory this bear. Like, it's so cool. And so he was like, he's gonna love it. And so I was like, can I have a picture with you? And he went, sure. And so I go, I get my picture with him. Sarah goes, takes a picture of him. I'll put the two pictures in progression now. And we're back. Okay. Um, and so we take those pictures, and he's like, well, it was really, really great meeting you guys. I'm gonna go in, put this stuff in my space. And so I was like, okay, like, it was so great meeting you. You mean so much to us. Thank you. And I go, um, no, wait, no, that's later. Okay, so he goes back in, and Sarah and I thought he was like going in and was gonna get ready. Like, we didn't know he was like coming out, back out again. So I collapse on the ground and there's a wall and I fall up against the wall. I go into the fetal position, I'm like rocking back and forth. I'm dry sobbing. Like I'm crying without crying. Basically, I'm making like the noise of like like literally dying. Sarah kneels down next to me, is like laughing at me. And we're there for like a solid like 5 minutes of me like crying. And all of a sudden, AJ walks back out of the door. And I swear to God, I stood up so fast. I was up, I was like trying to like act all cool, like that didn't just happen. And he had obviously seen me. It was very clear that he had seen me and he was laughing. And he was like, you guys are still here. And we were like, yeah, we are. And so then he was like, do you live around here? I mean, like, do you have plans? And we were like, no, I think we're gonna go home. We don't live around here. And he was like, where do you live? And we were like, New Jersey. And he was like, oh, like, um, New Jersey, that's cool. And we were like, yeah, this was the closest stop. He went, how far away are you guys? And we were like 2.5 hours. And he was just like, oh, well, that's dedication. And we were like, yeah, yeah. It was like, we had to come see you. And he was like, did you drive yourself here? And I was like, no, my sister drove me here. And I think this is where the last video picks up. So, yeah. She's not really into the whole like stage door thing, so she's off doing something else right now. And I'm already kicking myself for those words because now he probably thinks I'm too young to drive, which I'm not. I have my license, I'm 18. And I was like, can I have one more hug? And he went, sure. And so I went up and I hugged him. And then he like turned around and started walking down the street. And do you know those like big headphones that like are like this big? And so he like takes out a pair of those and puts them on and just walks down the street. And it was so funny. So we like watch him leave. And then I called Kelsey, and Sarah and I went and found my brother and sister again. Um, and we had a nice night. And yeah, so I mean, that's basically my whole AJ story. It probably sounds so awkward because, like, I don't know, it was an awkward experience, but like, I think it was better there than it is explaining it to people. I'm trying to think if I said anything else to him. Um, I wrote him a letter with like the main bullet points I wanted to talk to him about, just in case I forgot, which I did. I forgot almost everything I wanted to say to him, but he knows who I am, which is good. In the letter, I said I would be seeing him in Fiddler. Um, and yeah, I just it's one of those like I really just don't believe it's real. I really just don't like ever I don't even have words for this. Like I'm gonna start crying. Like he literally just like means the world to me. I just can't like believe that this happened. So thank you guys for being so supportive and I'm gonna end this before I embarrass myself.